The test of the chosen ones in the Bible, from suffering to glory. Throughout the history of salvation, the Bible tells countless stories of men and women chosen to carry out divine missions. Yet before stepping into their calling, each of them had to endure seasons of intense trials. These tests were not meant to destroy them, but to refine them. Just as gold must pass through fire to shine, the chosen ones had to pass through suffering to reveal their faith and be prepared for their destiny. Job, when faith is put to the fire. Job stands as one of the clearest images of testing. He was a righteous man, wealthy and respected. Yet in a short span of time, Job lost everything: his possessions, his children, and even his health. His friends accused him, his wife urged him to curse God, and he sat in ashes, broken and afflicted. But Job refused to abandon his faith. In the midst of his cries he declared, "Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him." Job's test did not destroy him, it purified his faith. In the end, God restored him with double what he had lost, and Job's name became a timeless testimony of perseverance and trust in God through unimaginable suffering. Moses, 40 years in the desert. Moses was chosen to deliver Israel from Egypt's bondage. But before raising his staff to part the Red Sea, he spent 40 years in the wilderness of Midian. From a powerful prince of Egypt, Moses was reduced to a lowly shepherd, seemingly forgotten by history. Those years were not wasted. They taught Moses humility, patience, and dependence on God. What seemed like delay was actually preparation. When the time came, Moses was ready to lead millions of people through the wilderness, because he had already been shaped by the wilderness himself. Joseph, from the pit to the palace. Joseph, the beloved son of Jacob, had grand dreams of leadership. But those dreams provoked jealousy, and his brothers betrayed him, selling him into slavery. From the pit to Potiphar's house, and then unjustly thrown into prison, Joseph faced years of betrayal and obscurity. Yet Joseph never allowed bitterness to rule his heart. He remained faithful and steadfast, even when no one was watching. Eventually, God used the very trials meant to destroy him as stepping stones to elevate him. From prison, Joseph rose to become Pharaoh's second-in-command, saving nations from famine. His test transformed a dreamer into a wise leader. David, from fugitive to anointed king. David was anointed by the prophet Samuel, while still a shepherd boy. But instead of immediately ascending the throne, he spent years fleeing from King Saul's wrath. Hunted, betrayed, and hiding in caves, David faced constant danger. In those dark nights, David poured out his soul in the Psalms, songs of anguish and hope. The years of exile forged in him a deep dependence on God. When David finally became king, he did not rule as an arrogant conqueror, but as a man after God's own heart, refined through suffering. Jesus, the test of the cross. No one understood the test better than Jesus, the ultimate chosen one. He was the Son of God, yet his path was not lined with instant glory, but with rejection, betrayal, mockery, and the cross. On Calvary, it seemed as if darkness had triumphed. But through his suffering, Jesus fulfilled the greatest mission in history, the redemption of mankind. The test of the cross was not his defeat, it was his ultimate victory. The spiritual meaning, trials as refinement. From Job to Jesus, the pattern is unmistakable. Trials are not abandonment, but preparation. To be chosen is not to escape suffering, it is to endure it with purpose. Job teaches us that genuine faith survives even when everything else is lost. Moses shows that waiting seasons are classrooms for humility and obedience. Joseph proves that injustice cannot cancel destiny when God is in control. David demonstrates that years of running are training grounds for kingship. And Jesus reveals that the greatest glory often comes through the greatest suffering. Trials are the divine furnace where character is purified, faith is tested, and destiny is confirmed. Your test today. Maybe you feel abandoned, misunderstood, or stripped of everything that once gave you security. Perhaps doors are closing, relationships are breaking, or life feels unbearably heavy. It may not make sense now, but remember, you are not being destroyed, you are being refined. Gold does not fear the fire, because the fire only removes its impurities. In the same way, your trials are shaping you, preparing you, making you into someone who can carry the weight of divine purpose. So do not despise the test. Embrace it as evidence that you are set apart. For every chosen one, suffering is not the end of the story, it is the path to glory. And when you emerge from the fire, your name will shine brighter, written in the eternal record of those who endured, those who believed, and those who overcame.